Okay, so who remembers where we left off?
I was reading books.
The nerds were nerding, and the other two were in the tavern gathering information.
Yeah, that's what I remember. The tavern.
Okay, nerds were nerding and the drunks were drinking.
Drinking, yeah, the drunks were drinking and the nerds were nerding, so.
Okay, so what's gonna happen tomorrow? Because we're moving on today. Unless anyone's got anything specific they wanna.
No, it's.
Not if it's late enough to be at the tavern.
Okay, so what are we doing the next day?
Well, of course, waking up late.
Okay.
Well, not
Nope.
waking up, coming down late.
Alrighty.
Well, I guess Ansel will end up
Shuffle deck.
grabbing Siri and going and seeing if there's anything else they can do.
Oh, that leaves me to my day. All right.
If that's what Ansel wants to do, then that's what Ansel will do.
So, see if there's anything going on else that they can do to keep Siri occupied and
Okay.
that.
Is Alden still there when I get down for breakfast?
Yeah, I wouldn't leave yet. I would
Okay.
actually probably just try and see what everyone else is doing before I jump out.
I'm trying to remember. Did you tell us about your incidents at the church?
I don't remember what incident, but
Your encounter at the church.
Where
yeah,
we-
I told you I went to the temple.
Okay. Because I have a thought, and I wanted to propose it to the rest of the group, or at least those with an inkling towards it, before going through with the idea. It's very obvious. The stories of Harrowstone, as far as we've followed, are that it's haunted. The Whispering Way is here, which means there's something going on, something bad, and I suspect priests of Pharasma would not necessarily be appreciative of that. So the question is, do we ask the priests for help in trying to get the list, or do we just try and steal the list from them? And by the list, I mean the prisoner list.
From the sheriff? You mean
No.
steal?
Steal from the church.
Ansel doesn't steal.
I don't know. I was gonna go there and ask them about the incident that happened 2 days ago. Since we know nothing about that, I figured that might be a good opportunity to ask about more.
Okay. I guess my big question is, are we willing to let anyone else, be it church or local authorities, know what we're doing here?
I would avoid the local authorities for now. We didn't exactly have a great start to meeting the sheriff if that's all we've done is get yelled at to walk away from a statue where an accident's happened. But I've at least said hi to the church, so I would say if we're going to favor one, let's go to the church.
Stat.
Then I might join you if you're going to the church today.
I certainly plan to. It's my first stop.
It's also Sunday.
Oh, that it
Oh,
is?
is it Sunday?
It is.
Yes, it is.
Oh, then I guess there won't be any work.
Probably not today, no.
So. Oh, great. Church.
So what are you gonna do?
Would you like to head out with us?
What are we gonna do about Siri?
You can take Siri and try and find some work to do, but I suspect you're not going to have any luck. Siri can guard the house. Right, Siri? Right.
That would
yeah,
actually
good
be
enough.
best.
Yeah,
we're still
should-
concerned.
Siri's probably still well.
Give it everything. Siri might still
There-
be.
There is one obvious downside to this plan.
What's the downside to the plan, other than Siri being alone?
Well, okay, yeah.
That might be the downside.
Well, Siri being alone, it might be a downside in itself. But if the idea is to protect Kendra, where's Kendra gonna be today?
That's a good point. We can assist her to the church. Siri can guard the house for potential spies. I know we haven't even thought about spies, but hey, you know,
I don't think it's the type. But okay.
where is Kendra, anyways?
She's probably milling around doing kitchen things, or I don't know.
Hey, Kendra.
Probably getting dressed because it's
Oh.
Sunday.
Well, if she's not like on the main floor, I wouldn't yell.
Right. But I mean, she'll eventually come wandering down. So
Yep. And then as soon as she comes down, I'll say, "Hey, Kendra, are you going to the church today?"
well, yes. For the brief ceremony, or not ceremony. What's the word I'm looking for?
Service.
Service. Yes.
Do you mind if we tag along? I think it'd be a great idea.
Well, I suppose yes.
Great. I'm ready.
I'm good to go as soon as I get like a piece of toast or something.
Sure, you can have a piece of toast. Basically, so mechanically, as long as you stay at the Lower Moor House, you have food and board for the month.
Yeah. I figured as much. It's just a matter of actually having the toast, like eating it as I'm walking out of the house.
Okay.
What is that? Looks like this Japanese schoolboy that eats toast every morning on the way out.
He is not Usagi.
Okay, so you head off to the church
After breakfast.
after breakfast. Yes. Well, you would head off to the church whenever you need to head off to the church.
Mhm.
And I did not move the players. I moved myself. So we'll do that. You're on the city map there. I need to move the camera down a bit because reasons.
This is where we're going. I believe that's the church.
Yep, you are wandering over
Well, we're not going up that way. Yeah.
from, and yeah, you're going. Well, okay, now don't stretch the bread roll. There we go. It's hard to grab it without grabbing one of the corners on this one. So basically, you're gonna move.
When we get to here,
this way.
I would turn to Kendra and ask what the Q building is.
The Q building. What
Yeah.
does Kendra know about the Q building? What is the Q building? She just shrugs and says that it's someone's house, Gibbs.
Oh, okay.
Gibbs?
Gibbs. He's a farmer, retired now.
Okay.
Okay. And then I'll just keep walking.
And you wander along and wander down through the covered bridge here, and you don't see many people out and about, but you see a couple people sort of heading towards the church. It's not a big village, so it's you just wander on down and into the church. And the church, I don't know if everyone was listening when I described it to.
I was not.
Okay, let me get the actual description because words, they're a thing. In the gazetteer at E. It is the most elaborate building that you've seen in the town. It's obviously made of stone mostly. It's obviously been here quite a while. It's not. This is not new construction. At the east side, you see a very intricate stained glass of someone who looks rather, I'm gonna call it stern, standing over another person, a male. So it's a female looking stern, standing over over a male. Meanwhile, the father is standing out front, sort of, doing the whole welcoming people to church thing.
While if they look at the glass thing, I'll point out that the woman is Pharasma.
Mm-hmm.
I nod.
Yeah, it is indeed Pharasma, and if you have any sort of basic understanding of religion, this is definitely a Pharasman church. It's not the most
Pleasant.
it's not bright and sunny sort of vibes. It's sort of dour and tones of gray sort of thing. But you know, it's church. Um, and so you sort of approach the church. I assume you're just gonna walk into the front door. No one doing anything.
Yeah, other
Good.
than greeting the father, we'll
Yeah.
walk up.
Okay, you greet the father. He kind of gives you a. For a moment, he gives you a look that says, "What are you doing here?" But he's an old man. You know, he's
Yeah.
kind of codgety. But he doesn't stop you, and he just sort of nods and lets you pass into the church. You know, there's a couple. There's maybe 100, 150 people in here.
Wow, good turnout.
Yeah, they're you know, small farming village. It's church day. People show up to church.
Everyone shows up at church.
Mm-hmm.
And so you do what?
Find a quiet pew.
Yep, it's time to be respectful.
I don't know that you find it. Well, I mean, everyone's quiet, but
It's time to fake being respectful.
right. There's not an empty pew, but you know, everyone's
Mid to back.
okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you're sitting somewhere in the middle, somewhere in the back, something like that. Okay, that's fine. You managed to find a seat, obviously.
I'll sit with Kendra if she sits closer.
Yeah, she'll sort of move with you guys, and I would assume one of you led the way, right? Who went first?
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
The
Um,
halfling possibly followed
The
by
halfling probably went first.
followed by the
yeah.
dork.
Okay. Kendra would have sort of. I assume Ansel would have come in last.
Yeah.
So it would have been Alden, then Alex, then Kendra,
You're
then
going up
Ansel.
in height.
That's awesome.
If y'all manage to do some, you know, fucking Beatles shit as you cross the street, I'm out.
Quick, let's peek around the door frame.
What?
No.
No.
So you take a seat, yeah? I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Take a seat.
you're just gonna sit there and listen.
I'm actually making a point of observing some things such as how many clergy there are, what areas seem to be off limits, like if there's obviously closed doors, so making plans if I need
Yeah.
to break in later.
Okay. Well, so there's obviously not necessarily off limits areas, but there's obviously this is where the people sit, this is where the clergy sit, you know?
So is it
As-
more like Roman Catholic or is it more like Eastern Orthodox?
uh,
Or do
My-
you
my-
have too much?
my only frame of reference is Anglican, so
Okay.
you know, there is, if you imagine a cross structure, right?
Mm-hmm.
The altar and pulpit is sort of in the center of the cross.
Okay.
And the people all sit on the long end. And behind it is where the clergy are, and that's where they have their, you know, communion, sacrament, all that sort of stuff.
Gotcha.
There's no like there's no choir here. This is not that sort of church. This is the father stands up in front of the people and delivers a sermon. There are, I don't know if it actually specifies. Let me just see if it specifies. Otherwise, I'm going to make it up as I go. I'm going to say that there are, you know, you guess half a dozen, maybe a dozen people in clergy attire, sort of milling around and, you know, ushering and standing there looking like clergy people, because that's what clergy people do on Sundays.
Okay.
You did, so Alden would notice this, you not so much. There was a second entrance to this building. It was closed, unlike it was earlier, Alden. So they don't, the shop isn't open while services are going on. Basically is what it is.
I'm not going to bring it up yet.
Yeah. There are a couple of other doors here. You don't know if they're locked or not, but, you know, they're not open. So,
Okay.
anything else anyone wants to do?
Would Ansel recognize anyone from the bar?
Oh, sure. Ansel would recognize quite a few people from the bar. I mean, there is effectively one bar in town, and there is one church in town, so the overlap is pretty common.
No, it's a matter of we all know we're hungover, but we're here anyway.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's one of those things. So I'm British, so I'm gonna equate this to a pub where it's you see all the locals down at the tavern pretty much every night, sort of thing. You know, everyone stops in for a drink and then goes on to home or something. So yeah, I mean, you recognize a lot of faces, not necessarily many people you've directly interacted with. Everyone, if you look around long enough, and you'll have time because you're sitting in a church sermon. Um, Everyone that was at the funeral is here. There's a couple of, I mean, everyone's sort of. It's Sunday. They're dressed up. It's a little, it's a farming village, so it's not like everyone's in black suits and ties and all that crap. But it's the Sunday bests. The gentleman who came and read the will for Petros is here, and he is in a suit. He's got a tie. He's,
The mayor.
The councilman.
the councilman. Yes, he was the councilman. He's sitting.
right.
He's sitting with the same gentleman he was talking with at the funeral. You remember that?
Mm-hmm.
And they're also joined by a woman who's olive-skinned, dark hair with the little streaks of, she's going gray. Little streaks of gray. And another woman, she is a little younger. She's more. You get more of the feeling of this person is a laborer than, I don't want to call them nobility, but
She's not in leadership. She's in service.
Yeah, she doesn't spend her time sitting around writing letters. She's a farmhand probably, or some physical job thereof. Anyone else in particular you're interested in?
I'm just taking a quick look at each of the clergy. I'm not sure how to phrase this.
Hmm.
Basically trying to see who's paying attention, like who's super devout, and who might just be a little Yanni of the clergy.
Yeah. So give me
Again, I'm plotting.
give me a sense motive. Let's see how well you're doing at scouting around here. Yeah, you're doing pretty well. I mean, there are a couple that you can tell, a couple of the altar boys are there just because, hey, it's Sunday and we gotta be here, and the fathers otherwise. There are definitely a few of the acolytes wandering around who are here in service, and they're not farmhands with an off job.
Are the cuckoos there?
The cuckoos?
Yeah, I told you. I'm calling those girls the cuckoos.
Oh, the little girls. Yeah, all the little girls are here. They're all sat next to two adults, one of whom
We've met at least one of them, I think.
I don't know. I don't remember who's met them, but anyone who's gone in the general store has met the man.
Yeah, we
Yep.
haven't met the woman yet.
You haven't met the woman, but you can reasonably assume that it's the mother.
Now then, I'm just gonna wait until the service is done.
Yeah, at this point we're waiting and gauging.
Yeah.
Okay. If no
Maybe
one's-
waving occasionally.
Yeah, doing the sort of social, but let's be respectful sort of thing.
I'm praying if I realize that one of these priests is a little soft in the head. I'm really praying.
Okay.
Not out loud. Not out loud.
Yeah, not out loud. I'm not sure how you would actually.
Just by mannerisms, which I might not see much of
yeah,
until afterwards.
Yeah, right now you're not going to see much of that because they're here because this is sermon time, everybody. We got to actually do this shit because otherwise Father's going to yell at us.
Mhm.
The father, he's
I'm essentially looking to slowly single out the dumb one.
right. The father, he eventually once it's time and he closed the doors and he comes in, he wanders up to the pulpit and he starts to give his sermon. You don't really need a sense of motive to tell that he's an old man, but he's still got quite a bit of sternness in him. He's a very serious man.
So it's the fire and brimstone sermon.
I wouldn't say fire and brimstone so much as
Poignant.
he's not he's not the smiling, nice to meet you, father. He's the he's the one who would go around to the youth and shake his finger at them, sort of thing,
Gotcha.
But I'm not going to go into the details of a sermon, but basically he's going to yabber on at you for a while. The teachings of Pharasma and judgment in the end at the end, etc., etc.
And some stupid story along the way about how you were bad and.
Probably, yeah.
I'm wondering if this is one of the super penitent churches of Ustalav, that they live in abject poverty and harm themselves with the idea that the more harm in this life, the better reward in next.
You don't get that feeling.
Okay.
I
know they exist.
Yeah, there's no one here that's showing really any signs of,
Okay.
Mostly people are just sort of sitting there in silence listening to him. It's one of the and again it comes down to that 50-50. We're here because it's the church, and we're here because we need to be here.
50 the reason why we're here.
Yeah, it's there are a couple of people that are very obviously they are devout, and certainly some of the clergy are.
There's a couple Flanders and a couple Simpsons.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, exactly. There's a couple of people here who are here because they are religious and they follow Pharasma and that. And some people are here because it's Sunday and you show up. This is a small village, and if you don't show up to church, yeah.
Don't show up to church, there'll be a witch hunt.
Well, I don't know about witch hunt, but
Yeah, let's not have a witch hunt.
You've got enough rumors out of the tavern to know that this is a small enough town that everyone talks. So if someone doesn't show up to church that night, guess who's the talk of the town? But other than that, the sermon's fairly placid. It's almost harvest time, so the whole reap what you sow sort of theme comes about. And after he's done his thing and blessed the crowd or whatever the hell he does, because I don't know if he would actually bless the crowd or not, but the sermon ends and people start to mill out of the church. No one how do I phrase this? No one's staying to talk.
No one's hanging around.
Yeah, no one's hanging around, but they're not all running for the door. You know what I mean? It's the polite. Okay, we've had the speech. Now get out. What are you guys going to do?
I'm giving the halfling a pointed look of you first.
Yeah, I was already hopping down. Is the father still at the podium? If he's not, I'll approach the father.
Yeah, he's still up. Well, he's not at the podium, at the pulpit itself, but he's milling around in that sort of area, cleaning up and.
Yeah, so I'd walk up and just say that was a lovely sermon.
He sort of turns and looks at you and yes, thank you.
I was just curious, how long have you been giving the sermons here?
Oh, fuck my life. I've been here since the town was founded. Well, once they built the church, of course.
Sorry, I'm taking notes. Okay, well that's wonderful. And then I'll lean in and sort of quieten down a little bit and say, Father, I heard some horrible news that there was an incident a couple of nights ago. Is everyone okay?
He looks confused.
There was some talk about an incident happening down at the statue.
Hmm. I haven't heard anything about that. No.
Oh, okay. Well, I suppose that's a good thing because I'm sure you'd be notified otherwise. Hopefully, everything else is going well then.
Mm, as well as can be expected, I suppose. Busy time of year.
I'm running out of topics.
You said that you've been here since the church was founded.
Mhm.
Then you were around for the fire.
I'll turn around and say, "Oh, this is my friend Alex."
Yeah, and he sort of, well, he saw you at the funeral,
Funeral.
so it's
That's
one of those. Who are you? Oh, right.
Forgive me. It's good to see you again, Father.
Yes, yes. He's got a slightly less welcoming look to him about you, but not openly hostile or anything. Yes, I was here when the fire happened. Yeah.
Trying to think how to phrase this.
My friend here is a great researcher, and so we've just been sort of trying to learn a little bit about the town.
Hmm.
And one of the more seminal events seems to have been said fire.
Well, of course it was. The town was made to house the gods that kept the place alive.
Can you tell me more about the incident?
Well, not really. It was a fire. And I nothing to do with the church other than to bury the dead.
Were there any survivors?
A few of the guards survived, yes.
Father, in the notes that we found so far, I couldn't help but notice that the roads and rivers in rest. Sorry, I forgot the name. In the restlands. Do they have names?
Oh, yes, of course. I have to know where your loved one is buried.
Can I get those names? I'd love to visit the professor.
Professor. Oh god. Hang on. Shut up! I don't memorize. I didn't memorize the names. The professor. The professor is buried. Math. The professor was buried in plot 62 on Eversleep.
And Eversleep is off of what was the main road?
Eversleep is one of the main roads.
Oh, okay. Apologies. Okay, thanks. I'll be sure to visit him.
My brain is a little foggy. I'm terrible with the names of things, and my mind was not overly clear the day of the funeral. We entered from what road?
Well, everyone enters from the village anyway, on Ancestors Walk. Yes.
All right, I appreciate that. I'm gonna go visit the professor then. I just wanted to thank you again for the lovely sermon, and I hope you have a blessed day.
Oh, yes. Be careful. Do try not to disturb anyone.
No, not at all, Father. Were you familiar with the professor?
Well, not really. He kept to himself quite a bit.
I see. Sorry, I'm trying to figure out how I can do this without blundering it. And wishing I could just do a gather information roll.
Go for it. Blunder it anyways.
Ask your question, then we'll make the roll.
The professor was doing research into Harrowstone and was concerned for the safety of the community. His death was unexpected, and I'm concerned as to what he may have been researching could have led to his death. I was hoping I might be able to get some information that you might have regarding the incident at Harrowstone.
Roll me diplomacy. 21. Where is my notes on research? Bloop. Why do I have bloop? I want bloop. Oh. Pharasman Temple. Or so he sort of he looks at you a little confused because of what you said. Well, the professor's time is whatever time was allotted to him. So he's going to start waxing philosophical about tying it back to his sermon.
Which I kind of grit my teeth and bear a little bit, hoping to appease him enough to get some actual info.
He's not going to give you access to the archives with that role, but what can I assist you with precisely?
I understand there was some issues right before the fire with some of the inmates. Was there anyone in particular that you were aware of that seemed to be leading the charge, so to speak?
No, I wasn't there, but
No, but you might have heard stuff, or
I vaguely recall them being some new prisoners right before the fire. Yes. That's as much as you're getting out of him.
anything in particular about these prisoners that were different?
One prisoner was bad as the others, I suppose. They were all sent their worst here.
Okay. Do you know where they hailed from, so to speak, or was it from all over?
My life. God damn it, Ken.
I'm sorry.
There is one that I want in specific too, because there is one in specific that the father would know about, and not him. Not him. Here we go. No, there was, and he frowns significantly, and as he remembers certain things, and he waits for a moment and sort of looks around to see.
Is anybody else looking in or listening? And I realize this will cause a perception.
Yeah, give me perception. Actually, everyone give me perception at this point, because I assume you're all standing there. So, yeah, Ansel's sort of half there.
He's with.
Yeah, he's staying with the group, but he's not truly paying a huge amount of attention.
Please tell me Kendra has been kind of hanging around too.
Yeah, she's near the sort of the back of the church, near the doors.
Hanging out with Siri. No, Siri's at home.
No, Siri's at home. She's sort of milling around, half waiting for you guys, sort of thing. She might step outside and talk with the townsfolk or something.
Okay.
Because it's one of those situations where everyone leaves the church, but not necessarily disperses from the grounds, because they're all sort of milling around, chatting with each other. Yeah.
Okay.
You clear the church, but you can sort of mill around outside, sort of thing. And so he looks around. You don't notice anyone particularly hanging around eavesdropping. You are kind of getting looks, but you're the outsiders in town, so you showed up to a church function for locals as an outsider, so you get eyes. Not unlike other looks you've had all the time since you arrived. So
Getting used to it.
yeah, getting used to it probably. And so the father sort of lowers his voice, and he's not happy about what he's thinking about. There was that one uh, charlatan.
It was charlatan. I say very quietly under my breath, like very quietly to him.
Yes, man of the cloth. Um, and probably only Alden identifies the fact that he mumbles something that's effectively a curse in what amounts to Parisian or for the Church of Pharasmatung. Whatever curse word their priests would use, basically.
Did you know the name of this charlatan?
No, I did not bother with such trivialities. It was math. It was 50 years ago. I was a young man then.
I'll turn around and say, Father, do you know why the statue to commemorate them is built so far away from where it happened?
Well, partly because, well, the land between there and here, well, between there, and he sort of points out towards the south, between there and the town, that is, that's owned by Gibbs. So it was private land.
I understand that. That makes sense.
Yes. Or the riverbank is a public space.
I'm
Thank
trying
you.
to think how to finish this off.
You have
Was
many
there any
things to
record
ask.
of the prisoners kept
Well,
that survived the fire?
Oh, so no, none of the
That would
prisoners
have
survived the fire.
no, a record that might have survived the fire of the
Oh.
prisoners.
Well, all of them died. They all would have entered the records of the church, obviously.
I need to actually roll on this.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I'm going with it. Father, my own father is the head of the Chateau archives in Caliphas. Records of this have been missing for, or at least have not existed. And as an archivist, I know he would deeply welcome the opportunity to further cement our history.
Roll either diplomacy or bluff, depending on whether you are lying or not.
I never said that I was working for him. I'm pointing that out to you, DM.
Mm-hmm. He sort of eyes you suspiciously for a long moment. Perhaps I can find something.
It would be deeply appreciated, Father. By the way, is there a tithe box around?
I'm gonna say yes, though it's probably empty because this is a farming village.
Yeah, I'm going to be making a donation
Okay,
of 5 gold.
5 gold.
Man, rich people around here.
When are you going to do that?
If the father is like leaving to go get the records or anything,
He's not in a hurry.
okay.
He's not in a hurry.
or when I'm on my way out.
Let's phrase it this way: he's not leaving you in the church by yourself.
Understandable.
Yep.
You are new people, outsiders, and he is not leaving the church empty with you in it.
Fair enough. So
Especially because there's probably like a couple of gold pieces up on or like actual things made like candlesticks made out of
Yeah.
gold and on the altar.
there's religious stuff that's expensive.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. I know you
Let's-
haven't said that out loud, but
Let me step out of character for a moment and say Father Grimbarrow is not letting a person who lives in Ravengrow alone in the church, let alone people who aren't.
Right. But it does sound like he might be warming up to the idea of letting me at least look at these notes and possibly transcribe them.
Again, when are you making this deposit? Are you making so let me phrase it this way.
Is this being a bribe?
Yeah, are you doing this overtly? Are you sitting here going, "Hey, look at me do this. I'm going," or are you just like dropping it in the box on the way out the door, sort of thing?
I don't think the priesthood would appreciate the idea of bribery, so I'm going to wait until I'm on my way out the door as a
Okay.
token of appreciation, whether I get it or not.
Okay.
Because at least that way I can make inroads.
Yep. Hello, dog. I can help you. No. All right. What is Ansel and Alden doing?
I would be-
staying with Kendra, so
Okay, so you're staying near the door and out, sort of outside,
Yeah.
mingling around. Okay.
I would just say thank you and wave goodbye when Alex is done.
Okay. So Ansel's been sort of standing around outside. Kendra's doing her milling around thing the dog wants out.
I'll take him out.
She's been friendly and sociable and all that sort of thing, but nothing really significant. And
All I'll say is, like, if it's very clear that he's not going to, let me see the notes now, I might try and mention or suggest, if you'd be willing to meet with me on it, where I'm located, I would be happy to just sit down with you over these notes.
He responds by saying, "Well, let me look around. Why don't you come back tomorrow?"
Understood. Thank you, Father, for your time, and that's when I'm depositing the money as I'm walking out the door.
Okay, well, you don't give him the money. You put the money in the box, but yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. I will make some notes here. Right. So, what are you doing with the rest of your day? Because it's sort of mid morning, closer to getting to lunchtime now.
As soon as we actually get outside, if Kendra's by herself, I'll wait until
Ansel's there.
Well, yeah, but if there's not like a lot of people around.
There's a couple people. Again, it's one of those people are sort of standing in small groups and chatting with one another things.
Is there anything else you guys would like to do?
I will wait for Dante to get back with the dog.
What were
That's
your
fair.
plans for the day, Mr. Highhill?
Well, I'm not gonna lie, that was more productive than I had hoped, and we can discuss that later, I imagine. But
You wanted
after
to go
this,
see the professor, though, didn't you? And I'm saying this with a bit of a grin.
I did. Speaking of which, Kendra, have you ever heard of the Black Path?
The Black Path? That's a very vague question, Chris.
Yeah, I heard it was one of the old pathways in. I'm so bad at the name of that
The
place.
Restlands.
Restlands.
Maybe. One of the streets, I guess. Yes.
I was just curious if you knew which street it was. I wanted to get my bearings on all the locations.
I'm not entirely sure.
That's okay. Thank you, anyways.
Anyone else want to do anything?
I have to wait for Dante
Mm-hmm.
because at this point I
No,
would almost
A-
recommend splitting.
No, Ansel has nothing to input.
Ansel's in-
Which I am making a point of apologizing to both of you for taking so much time.
Oh, please, it was enlightening.
I assume Ansel's not incredibly thrilled at having sat through a church ceremony or sermon.
Mm-mm. Ansel is not ye old church, I believe in a God person.
Neither is Alex, but he's still biting his lip.
Biting his foot?
His lip.
Oh, whoops. Why do I have Google? Oh. Wrong window.
Alex, would you like to head up to the scroll shop with me?
Yeah, that would work.
I'm not sure if Kendra and Dante would like to join us, but you're welcome to if you'd like.
Master
Ansel.
Nyoka?
I have no plans unless I'm needed.
Mr. Slorimar?
She sort of.
Poo-poos
She,
it.
well, she sort of shrugs. It's like, well, I guess we can wander by.
I'll seek under my breath curse.
By the way, is there any like little shop where I can get flowers?
That's a great
Uh,
point. I would do that first.
The answer is yes. The question is which one.
Probably the general.
On the way.
No, you're gonna get to this. You're gonna get to the L before you get anywhere else because you're gonna go through the north.
Okay. By the way, what are M3 and M4? There's no marking.
You don't know. There's no marking.
That sounds like a great topic to ask while we walk by, though.
They look like farmhouses. Or general farms.
I'm gonna sit here and wait for something to happen.
I assume we're probably just going straight to L.
So let's head towards L, and when we pass M3 and M4, ask what those houses are. If I'm not mistaken, I know that M3 is the councilman's house. I learned that one of them was the councilman's house.
You're making me look again. God damn it. You know that M1 is the councilman's house.
Oh, right.
And so you walk up the road and past M3. It's a big house. There's a couple of fields out back.
Is this one of the councilman's houses?
So you're asking that to Kendra?
To
also?
Kendra, yeah, sorry.
She looks over and, oh yes, that's Shonda's house.
By the way, who all are the councilmen in town?
Well, there's Councilman Hearthmount. There's Councilman Mirakar, Councilwoman Straylock, and Councilwoman Faravan.
The Firebrim?
Faravan, Faravan.
That's all I wanted to know. So I said, "Oh, interesting," and then I'll keep walking.
Yeah, you keep walking. I mean, obviously there are other people also sort of milling along the road, heading home after church, and so.
I'm just trying to find a little bit more information about these councilmen. I mean, we kind of know Hearthmount is something of a, well, from what I've gathered. Actually, I really don't know what he does.
He's not the leader, but he's probably the main voice.
Like, I assume people with that position have secondary jobs as well.
Oh, that was actually something I was going to find out eventually.
You actually.
I'm asking Kendra about this.
Well, I don't know what Vashian does. I mean, he spends all of his time at home, as far as I know, anyway.
And the other 3 councilmen?
Well, Councilwoman Straylock, she still runs her farm. Councilman Mirakar, he's a merchant. Well, he used to be. He's retired is not the right word, but he doesn't travel anymore. He lives at home.
And Farravan?
Oh, she was a royal accuser for a time. Yes, that was. I don't know why I'm giving her this voice, but whatever. She was a royal accuser. But she's moved back here now that things have calmed down in the capital.
I just kind of blanch a little bit at the just that statement.
Do I know what a royal accuser is? I'm sure I should.
Basically a prosecutor.
Right.
Oh, I was thinking Inquisitor.
Yeah, it's well, prosecutor, inquisitor. The line blurs. Not so much the direct dispensation of justice, but the inquisitor in the sense of I'm gonna call it the Spanish Inquisition.
Yeah, that's what I'm afraid of.
Yeah, go around and direct those that would carry out the justice.
Okay. So I guess we're just heading to L at this point, unless. Oh,
Well,
right, M4.
now that I think about it, would the scroll shop be the place to have parchment, just blank parchment and quills and pens, or would that be the general store?
Equally likely.
All right, well, I'll go to L then, and I'll try my luck.
Okay. And I assume everyone's just gonna trundle along, follow along. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. When you get to L, it's not quite open yet, mainly because the guy who runs it has just been to church and is now making his way home.
I realize that. Maybe we should head back to the house first.
Or
And,
to the cemetery.
And I will remind you that the person who runs L is an old wizard, and therefore probably is not as fast as a halfling. And so you probably passed him on the road back there somewhere.
Lord.
Maybe it's best we go visit the professor.
Sure,
Since
I'll
we have
tag
the time.
along.
Okay, so instead you turn around and head back north, probably pass by the wizard again, and head up to P.
Mm-hmm.
And which is that I am going to put a cut in my recording real quick. Sake of being able to edit things when I get to YouTube. Right, so we go to the Wrestlands. Swoosh.
Swoosh.
Oh, no one's got a token here anymore. Because I've erased them all.
By the way, are there any at least wildflowers on the side of the road as I'm heading up this way?
It's February.
Oh,
Yeah,
never mind.
There's wild growth.
Nothing flowering, though.
Not particularly. Let me just plop your tokens back down. Oh wait, no, those are the NPCs. They don't exist. Alden. Oh no. There we go. Alden. Ansel. Alex. Siri didn't come. So there we go. Everyone's got a token. You arrive back at the gates of the Wrestlands.
By the way, if we end up being, if we end up having issue with some of the grave keepers, I don't know if that's likely or not. If there's more than one, can you guys try and seclude one with me?
I'm not understanding.
if we have issue, you know what? Don't worry about it. We shouldn't have issue.
It's. I think I get it.